If you're an Amazon seller or looking to become an Amazon seller, this is a must-watch video because Amazon FBA has changed. Part 2. What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Sean Peterson. I'm a full-time seven-figure Amazon seller. And in today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a part 2 of Amazon changes that have happened and that are happening and things that you want to be aware of. Just a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about the changes and just where I think the future of Amazon is going. And that got a ton of traction. And I want to give you guys some more insights and just a few things that you guys need to consider before you start selling on Amazon, before you launch your first product, or if you're a current Amazon seller, you need to be doing these things, because if you're not, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I'm super excited about today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. I want to be picking one lucky winner to get access to my winning product picks of the month. This is a $150 value that I'm giving away completely free. All you need to do is like the video, subscribe, drop a comment, and let's get into it. All right, so the first change that I want to talk about is just giving you guys a realistic time frame of how long it's going to take to actually launch a product. Now, there is a lot of things that are subjective on the product, on the individual, and just getting things done in general. But overall, I would say when it comes to selling on Amazon, it is taking a little bit longer than normal to launch a product. So let me explain kind of why that's the case. The first thing is manufacturer lead times. They are getting a little dragged out. It's taking a little bit longer. Suppliers are having delays with the pandemic and different things like that, shortages. It's just becoming a little bit more difficult in terms of getting inventory like quick and ASAP. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work and you can't get inventory. It's just you have to wait a few more days or maybe a few more weeks than normal. For me, that's not the end of the world, and I'm dealing with it. Every other Amazon seller is dealing with it, and it's not an issue. But that is one change that is happening, is the lead times with the manufacturers are a little bit longer. The second thing is the shipping lead times are a little bit longer. With the congestion at the ports, being able to get the inventory offloaded is taking a little bit longer as well, and that is going to delay the product launch just a little bit. Again, if these are concerns that you guys are just so stressed about and you're losing sleep over, then business entrepreneurship is not for you. For me, it's not the end of the world, but that is a change and something that you have to be aware of going into the business, because it's not something that you can just start in a matter of a few weeks and boom, all of a sudden you've got this thriving business that is printing a bunch of money. So that is the first thing in terms of just kind of the reality of the time frame of launching a product. It might take a few more weeks than normal. Again, an extra few weeks is not going to kill you. It's not the end of the world, but that is a change that is happening with Amazon. Hopefully things start settling down and things get going kind of back to normal. I don't really see that happening anytime soon. So understand it might take a little bit longer to get a product up and going. And again, that is subjective on the product itself. If you find a product that's light, that's not super complicated, that's a little bit smaller, a manufacturer might be able to get that produced a lot quicker. And if it's small and if it's little, they might be able to do air shipping, which that means you can get the product a lot quicker. So there are ways around it. It also, again, it's subjective on the product, because if it's big, if it's a complicated product, the lead time is going to be a little bit longer. And if it's bigger, you're going to have to do sea shipping, which is going to be around 30 to 40 days. So those are things that, again, are subjective depending on the product. And then the other thing that is, it's completely subjective on the individual. Some individuals will take action and get things rolling really, really quick, where others, it might take them a little bit longer. It's their first time going through the process. They might not feel as comfortable. For me, I'm willing to stay up in the middle of the night to communicate with the manufacturers, where other people, it might take them a few weeks because they don't stay up as late. They might not be willing to make those sacrifices, or maybe they have to wake up super early at their job. There's different things that you have to take into consideration in terms of just kind of the time frame of a product launch. For me, very reasonably, again, kind of depending on the product, the average product launch for me, this is for me, it's not for you, it's not for everybody, it's around 6 weeks or so. Again, it could be a little bit longer. Again, if the product is light and I can get air shipping, and if the margins make sense, which for the most part, it just hasn't, it could be a little bit less, but I would say 6 to 8 weeks is a very reasonable time to get a product up and going. Again, it could be a lot longer depending on how quick you move, how much you're willing to put in the work. But that is a big change that is happening, is just the delays. So I want you guys to understand that, hey, understand that going into it. This is, again, I tell people this all the time. We're in this business for the long term. We're not in this to get rich overnight. We're not here to make a quick buck in a few weeks. We want our business to be around, not just for a few months, but for years to come. So that is the first change that has been happening inside the Amazon marketplace. The second change that I want to talk about is the importance of differentiating and improving your product. The days are over where you can just go and copy somebody's listing, find it on Alibaba, throw it up on Amazon, and all of a sudden you just have a bunch of sales coming in just overnight. Now, it might work for a few weeks, maybe a few months, but the lifespan of the product, if you just literally copy somebody, if you just literally copy an exact product that is already selling, you might have some success for a short period, but the longevity of it is not going to last. So it is super important moving forward that you get creative, you think outside the box, you come to market with something unique and different. I know in literally every single one of my videos, every single one of my weekly live calls, I stress on that point probably too much, but it's something that you need to engrave in your head, that you do need to come to market with something different. You can't offer the same exact product and expect to succeed. And what I mean improve your product, that doesn't mean lower the price. That doesn't mean to have better images. That doesn't mean to have customized packaging. Those are things that you should already be doing inside your Amazon listing. So we're gonna come over here and I'll just kind of break down some things that you wanna look at when it comes to improving your product, making sure that it's, hey, it's different. It's not just the same old product. You're not competing just pure based on price and reviews, your product packaging, the quality of pictures. We don't want those things to determine whether our product is successful. Those should already, again, I just said this, those should already be standard for your Amazon products. So right here, this is a 3 wall hook, a decorative wall hook. So let's say this is a product that I'm looking to sell and this is my competition. So I'm looking at it and I see, maybe I can make this a little bit bigger here, zoom in on the page. We see this is the main image. We see that obviously there's a lot of room for improvement on images, just like the product itself. And so somebody is going to be like, well, I'll just launch the same exact product and I'll just improve the images. And instead of selling it for $17, I'll sell it for $15 and I'll be good. And again, that is not the strategy. You do not want to just get in a price war. And again, this is a big change. And if you're not adapting and adjusting in this direction, you're going to get left far behind. So instead of saying, oh, I'm going to launch the same exact product and I'm going to have the same, just improve my images and do a cheaper price, let's figure out, okay, what can we do to actually add value on it? One of the biggest things that I like doing, and if you guys don't have Helium 10, then go get it down in the link down below. I have a discount code for you guys, but right here you click on this Chrome extension and you can click on this Review Insights tool. I have a complete video breaking down this, so I won't go into too much depth, but you can go and break down literally all of the reviews in a few clicks and see what's good, what's bad, top reviews, bad reviews, and you can see what's common, what's trending, or what are the customers saying, with like what are the issues. And that is what we want. We want to know what the customers are saying about the product, because then we can take that information and make ours better. So right here, at this first review, it doesn't really make sense why they left a 3-star review. But right here, they said gorgeous hangers. They're beautiful, very sturdy. But it says my only complaint is that they do not come with gold screws to accompany them. So you have this gold hook, but the screws are probably either black or silver, and it just doesn't look good. So the screws are taking away from the aesthetics of the product. So that's one thing that I would be like, okay, I need to for sure include gold screws in mine and let my customer know that, hey, like, yes, my product has gold screws. My competitor does not. The next thing is hardware is cheap. So again, this is talking about the screws. So it says don't use the screws that come come with this two screws snapped while drilling right here, drilling into a wooden surface. Things are made so cheap these days, it's ridiculous. So it's, again, they're talking about the hardware, they're talking about the screws. Those are big complaints that they have about this product. So for me to improve it, I would go in and improve the screws, improve the hardware. But again, I wouldn't stop there. I'd go a step even further. Instead of just improving the hardware, I would include, instead of a 3-pack, maybe I would do a 4-pack. So right here, we have the 3 different designs. Maybe you do 3 of the same design or 4 of the same design, or you get these 3 designs and you add a 4th design. And that would be ideal, is to come to market with a different design. So yes, you have these 3 designs, but then you add a 4th. And just like that, your product is very different. You have better hardware, and yours comes in a 4-pack, and it has an additional design. And if you can price that at, let's say, $19.99 or $21.99, then that is where you're going to be able to crush your competition, because for an extra $1 or $2, you're getting an extra hook, plus you're getting better hardware. And those are all things that you'll want to display in your listing, in your bullet points, and really convey that message to the customer saying, hey, my product is better than yours. So that is what I would do with this particular product. Obviously, there's some things that I could look into doing more, but that is one thing. And again, these pictures are very poorly done. So I would improve the product images. And this is one thing that honestly kind of drives me nuts, is like this Photoshop, like it just does not look very good. It doesn't just like, it doesn't flow well. It doesn't look very good. And so there's a lot of ways that I can improve on the images. We'll come over here again, look at this seller, these wall-mounted hooks. This listing is horrible. Like it just does not look very good. And this 2.2 inches, like that's confusing. Like it's got 5.7 inches. Like I'm confused. Right here, look at this hook. Like you can tell that this jacket is photoshopped on there. You can tell that this bag is photoshopped on there. You can tell that hat, like that's just horrible. So don't be that person. You've got to, like, seriously, if you're wondering why you're not succeeding on Amazon and you have pictures like this, then again, you need to reevaluate your listing. So again, improving the images, that should just be standard, but finding improvements, reading the reviews, reading what the customers are saying, and coming to market with something different, that's going to really set yourself up for success. So that is the second and biggest change, is you do need to get creative, think outside the box. You don't need to invent anything new. I'm not telling you to go invent the next greatest levitating phone or whatever it is. Like, you don't need to invent anything. You just need to get creative, add value to your product, and ask yourself, look, is my product better? Is my product different? Take a survey, ask a bunch of your friends, do a poll on Instagram, do a poll on Facebook. There's a number of things that you can do to get valuable feedback. And again, don't launch something that somebody already has. You've got to come to market with something unique and different. And if you don't, you're going to get wrecked on Amazon. And that is a big change that moving forward, if you don't do that, you're going to fail. So that is number 2. All right, so let's dive into the third and last massive change that is happening with Amazon, and it has to do with startup costs. In the past, I've told people, hey, look, you can start with $2,000 to $3,000, no problem. And the reality is you can, but there are a few things to consider and a few things you need to understand. If you have a little bit smaller of a budget, you need to set your expectations properly. And again, this is where I see a lot of people just fail and take shortcuts because they get into something not really understanding what they're getting themselves into. So $2,000 to $3,000, yes, you can still launch a product, but what's going to happen is it's going to limit your product selection, and it's going to tempt you to take shortcuts and not get professional images taken. It's going to tempt you to not spend money on PPC and launching your product. And it's going to maybe stress you out a little bit because you're penny pinching over every little thing. Again, that's not an issue, but just understand going into that, $2,000 to $3,000 is on the slimmer side, at least currently with the Amazon marketplace. For me, I like to have around $5,000 to $10,000. And again, it can be more, it can be significantly less, but it depends on the product. If you're launching a more expensive product, then obviously it's going to cost more money. If you're launching a product that is in a market that's a little bit more competitive and it has a little bit more demand, well, that means you have to order more inventory. And if you have to order more inventory, well, your cost, your startup cost is going to go up. So there's so many different factors that go into how much it's going to cost to start Amazon, because there's so many things that it's just dependent on the product, depends on the market, depends on the product itself in terms of like the manufacturer, the shipping cost, if it's big, small, if you're going to do air shipping, sea shipping, all those factors play into it. But for me, if you have a good healthy budget of, let's say, $6,000, well, then you're not stretching yourself thin and you're not as worried in terms of getting professional product images taken. You're not as stressed about spending some money to launch your product and get up and going. And you just have a little bit more wiggle room. And then also, this is another key component is, let's say your product, it costs you $4,000 of inventory and it starts selling really well. Well, you need to have enough money to make that second order. So if you have additional funds to be able to replenish the inventory quicker and avoid running out of stock, well, that's going to propel and help your Amazon business and keep the momentum going. So again, you don't need to have $1 million to start an Amazon FBA business, but having a healthy budget is important because it's going to allow you to scale a little bit quicker. If you have a smaller budget, set your expectations and just be real with yourself, because if you have, let's say, $1,500, yes, there are products that you might be able to find that you can launch for $1,000, but that $1,000 that you invest is not going to replace your 9-to-5 job in a span of a couple weeks. It might take months, maybe even a year or so of reinvesting profits before you have a product line of 3-4 products that are paying for themselves and then generating a significant amount. Where if you have a little bit larger of a budget, you can target certain categories, certain industries, certain markets that have a little bit more demand. The profit margins are a little bit better and you can get to your end goal a little bit quicker. So it depends on the route that you're going. If you're trying, and if your goal is, hey, I want to quit my 9-to-5 job in 6 months, then definitely you're going to need to have more than a couple $1,000s to get up and going. If your mindset is, look, I just want to make an extra couple $100 and I want to do this for the next 3-4 years and just keep reinvesting. I like my job right now, but in 5 years, I want to be able to quit it. Then yeah, having a couple $1,000s is totally reasonable. So again, it depends on your end goal. It depends on your product. There's a lot of things that you got to take into consideration when it comes to the startup costs of Amazon. So those are some things that are changing, but again, super important, set your expectations right. Having a little bit more money gives you more flexibility, allows you to not be tempted to take those shortcuts that I talked about. But those are just some very important things moving forward in the Amazon marketplace. Selling on Amazon, you need to be doing those 3 things. And if you guys didn't watch part 1, then click right here. If I remember, I'll put the tab and you guys can go watch that. There's so many things that are changing, and if you are not adapting and adjusting, you're gonna get left far behind. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. You have a chance to win a free product picks of the month. It's $150 value. What you need to do is like, subscribe, just support the channel. It means a lot. And if you guys are looking for a mentor, if you guys are looking to take your Amazon business to the next level, if you guys are looking for help, then go to the link down below. You guys can fill out an application, get on a free one-on-one discovery call, and we can see how we can help you start your Amazon business, whether it's from scratch, whether you have 1 product, whether you have 10 products. I'd love to be able to see how we can help your business and scale it to the next level. So go to the links down below. I appreciate you guys' support, and we'll see you in the next one.